Welcome back, heroes, to the finals of the GenCon 2023 Regional License Exam here in beautiful Indianapolis, hosted in Lucas Oil Stadium. My name is Keenan Meadows, and I'm here with my lovely fiance, Ashley Fullerton, and we are here to bring you the final match, the end-all be-all between two of the Set 5 characters that have made absolute waves at this tournament. We could not be more excited to introduce these two. Ash, what are our players in, or what is our audience in for?
So we are obviously bringing back the winner from the previous stream top 4. We've got Andrew Holder playing Overhaul off of Life. And we also have a character that I have just been skating around getting on stream all weekend. That is Mimic.
Yes. Oh my God. When we got to see Justin playing this Mimic deck earlier, so it turns out if you're on the stream is actually good luck in this tournament because our last two stream matches have featured both of these players, and oh my goodness, we saw Justin absolutely tearing apart his opponent. His deck is fast, his deck is brutal, and it was even through Mirio's damage reduction, there was nothing to be done. So I'm really interested to see. We do have Andrew on the play here, so it's gonna be interesting to see like if he can stop this onslaught. I didn't get a chance to catch Andrew's stream though, so tell me a little bit about how that went and what you think if that might affect this matchup at all.
Andrew is doing a really good job of doing a kind of medium-paced Overhaul deck. So we saw the very fast evil Overhaul early. Fast, obviously, being a subjective. He has the ability to go fast when his opponent doesn't have every answer in the
more
entire
aggressive
world.
maybe,
yes,
quote unquote.
That's a much better way to describe it.
Yep.
So we've got the release down, and that has obviously been a pivotal part of Andrew's defense, as it pretty much always is.
So I talked to Andrew before this match, and I said, hey, Andrew, what are you thinking? Because I looked at this, and I said, I think that Justin is going to like be the race car of this match. And Andrew said, you know what? My objective is to get to turn 3, build to 15 foundations, and just never die. And I'm like, you know what? I would love to see that. Andrew's whole objective inside of his deck, he plays a lot of cards that will just draw him cards, because Overhaul has a tax in the early turns where he has to build cards out of his hand to get things face down so that he can then sort of get this stable position with which to leap from, versus Mimic, and we go ahead and see Back Alley Haymaker, the card that always draws you a card. And so we also have Mimic on this other side, looks like we're figuring out what we're going to commit, who is just trying to get to turn 3, and on turn 3 we've seen this Mimic go all out to just do catastrophic amounts of damage to their opponent. So I think this is going to be really interesting back and forth. I think I personally feel as though, you know, Mimic, the amount of damage output I saw from Mimic is terrifying. And so, but the thing is, Mimic has a really hard time blocking when you get stunned down. So it's a really interesting matchup, really a lot of back and forth here. We're going to go ahead and get another foundation and play off this back alley. And let's see, did we build that? We built that from a face down, right? So we're at 6 foundations from our 4 build initially.
And very nice. But we do only have 3 cards in hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that right? We should have 4, I think,
4?
Unless he discarded something.
Oh, you're right. You're absolutely
right. And so, ooh, that's excellent. So we went ahead and we got him to fail the block, and that stun 2 is something that Andrew was talking about something he's going to get. Mimic only gets 2 foundations, and he only gets to commit 1 asset per card that he's playing. So stun is actually very powerful, especially if Mimic hits a bum check. And so in this case, it looks like Andrew's going to go ahead and be able to take a momentum, get Mimic down to 18 life. And we did see Mimic is kind of made of paper, like 25 life 6-hander. He went down pretty quickly when he's being attacked. Like, this is a really good spot for Andrew to be in right now.
So Mimic is, I'm excited to see this just to kind of get an example of how to wrap my head around how a Mimic works.
Yes.
The once per turn response of after you check an asset, add 1 attack with a check value of 3 from your discard to your hand. So he's a pseudo 7-hander.
He's a pseudo 8-hander because he does that on both players' turns.
Pseudo
if he can manage a check to like an asset check on both turns, he gets to pick up 2 attacks. So not only is he like through the process of playing cards, he is sculpting his hand to attack, but he also gets to pick up incredibly powerful blocks. One of the cards that we saw him pick up initially and he tried to block with was Cheerful Uppercut. Every time he checks an asset, if he feels threatened, he can just put a card in his opponent's card pool on a block, which is such a strong, like, just you just have to have this. I love this card. So this is a card that I have never seen played before, this Mimic deck called Shocking Entrance. What it does is it allows you to discard one and then pick up any asset or character, which he's not playing characters, but any asset back to his hand, and so he can get both the triggers and the training weights online, and those are going to be the number 1 and number 2 cards that Mimic is going to need to get the damage to close the game out. Trigger allows you to respond and give any check +1, and then Mimic can commit Trigger to give to pass the check additionally.
Now, last game we did know that this was going to be our finals, or at least that we were going to get a Mimic in finals. They finished a little bit before we did.
Yep.
Levi spent some time kind of singing the praises of how good Twisting Azure Inferno is with this deck.
Yep.
So initially, he checked 2 Twisting Azures immediately. There's only 3 in his deck. I had that moment of, oh, will he be able to do it? Oh, right, he can just pick them up.
Yep, exactly.
I don't know if y'all pulled up his deck list previously, but his deck list is literally 19 foundations, 19 attacks, 19 assets.
Perfectly balanced.
A third of the time, he is going to check an asset. A third of the time, he has the ability to pick up an attack from his discard pile.
Yep, and here we go.
Speaking of,
so that's so the big thesis of this deck is Twisting Azure training weights.
Right.
Twisting Azure needs to get to 7 damage. Training weights commits for +1 damage. Mimic response for +2 more damage. All of a sudden, your Azures are basically always online whenever you need them to be. And at that stage, you get your trigger transformations. Trigger transformation last time we saw it was coming for like a minimum of 5 mid for like 18 with double training weights in play. It's nuts. It's absolutely crazy. And it happened on turn 3. I think it was both games. So it's a really strong ability. Now, we see Andrew is starting to mount his staging area. So we're going in, and he's going to try to just finish his build out.
Well, is that 2 back alleys?
That's 2 back alleys, and
so that's stun 4 against a character that doesn't build a lot of foundations. That's not nothing.
Right. And we might draw into some more gas. We can also Andrew may have an attack down in his stage as well. So I think there's a lot of different ways that this turn could go. I think if Andrew was going to play this the way that he was talking to me about it, that would involve him, playing this back alley, drawing a card, playing a second back alley, maybe drawing another card, and just building 5. But what may also happen is he draws into a lethal string, and he notices, hey, after stun 2, Mimic has 1 foundation down. And so anything that I throw at him, he might just be able to fail those checks, and I may just be able to get there off the back of that.
Oh, so Mimic has picked up the other Twisting Azure Inferno. It looks like Mimic is really hoping you just don't kill me this turn, and the next turn I'm going to ruin your life.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what he's doing. And so Andrew is going to go for the second back alley here. And so let's see.
We love checking a 5 on a second back alley.
Oh yeah, for sure. And okay, so he's got a bunch of different 0 defs, a lot of defense in the hand. He can give -3 speed with those Owl Protect Yous. He's going to go ahead and build the Owl Protect You, which I think that's an interesting choice. Maybe it's just to go ahead and have the foundation ready. All right, so we're going to go ahead and bust Takoyaki. This is a really interesting card that we got to see in play, but we didn't really get to see activated. It is the 6 check in the Mimic's deck, so if he ever needs a 6, he might be able to count on his Takoyakis to bring him to victory. But it will destroy for +2 or -2 damage on any attack, and then allow him to draw a card. Mimic, again, only has 25 health, so giving it a little bit more minus damage in the mix can be really helpful to be able to survive and save off a turn. He doesn't know that Andrew's sitting on, 5 or 4 gray cards right now, and Andrew may be trying to play another attack here.
Oh,
baby, this is awesome.
The repeated?
Yes, so this is going to allow Andrew to go ahead and ready up 3 of his committed foundations here, which is going to give him plenty of defense to survive the next turn. He also has a momentum, which could be an option for powerful 3. You add in Overhaul's +2 damage, and you get 11 damage on board. Unfortunately, his opponent is at 13 right now, so I don't know if that counts to lethal unless he's got some other tricks up his sleeve.
But it does say to Mimic, hey, you better count to lethal right now.
Yeah, yep, for sure. And I'm wondering if Mimic's just considering trying to block this with the double jab in his hand, or if he says, you know what, this double jab is going to kill you next turn, and I think you're out of gas. Yep, so we're going to go ahead and spend some momentum, and we are throwing damage on this baby.
Okay.
We would like to get some attacks out of Mimic's hand, and, at best, maybe it's going to be enough damage. Maybe we're going to have to be able to find the damage somewhere else. I'm not 100% sure here.
It's very threatening.
Yeah, it's pretty gross.
But when you put the damage on instead of the speed, that does kind of posture to your opponent, hey, I'm not throwing another attack at you.
Right, right. Oh, we could have also cooperation offered to make this lethal, I think, because we played it from our stage, right?
We did. We did.
Yeah, so we chose not to do that, which is really interesting. So yeah, we go ahead and commit out for that, and I don't think there are any more attacks, so we're just going to we're going to play to be able to block.
Oh, he does have one attack.
Oh, he's got a future charge. Okay.
That's probably not.
That's not 13 damage. No. Yeah. It's interesting because with the future charge, if he'd given it 3 speed, no, I mean the future charge is super easy to block. So if he was able to block the repeated, the future charge is no brainer. So we wouldn't have been able to get there off of 2 attacks, or at least he didn't feel confident that we could. But
still not a bad way for a turn to go for our friend Overhaul here. He's got a lot of ready foundations. He's got a momentum.
Right.
He's got almost half of his opponent's life gone.
Yep.
He's got some face down cards that he can pull from to block. He has 2 in hand. How many attacks will Mimic be able to pass on this turn?
One thing I did want to bring up is Andrew said he has got no qualms going into Deadlock in this matchup. But we do see a Fancy Feast down, which normally is a card that only really commits to pass a check and give +2 damage to something. But on Deadlock, you can destroy it to give an attack 4 speed and 4 damage. And I think Andrew is at exactly 11 foundations right now, which means that if we start off with a Twisting Azure and just +4/+4 it immediately, that is a hefty chunk of stats that Andrew may not be expecting out of this deck.
Andrew does have 2 releases down, so he can effectively undo that for speed,
right?
But
get himself out of Deadlock immediately,
exactly.
Which, might be valuable.
So we'll see exactly what sequence these players choose to play those particular enhances.
Yep.
Assuming that Mimic has drawn at least 1 attack.
Right,
he had 2 Twisting Azures in his hand.
2 Twisting Azures in his hand. One of the craziest parts about this deck is that he plays 3 in main, 1 inside. I don't think I've ever seen a player play only 3 Twisting Azures in a deck, because that card is just so good. But for Justin here, I guess it doesn't quite always represent all the damage that you need. And we're going to go ahead.
What is this 7 difficulty attack?
This is his bread and butter. This is Trigger Transformation.
Okay.
So this is the card that comes across for 18 damage when you have, a bajillion assets in play and also training weights active. So we had 2 training weights in the last stream game that we had. So it was going to be like +7 damage on the training weights, +5 damage on the trigger, or something stupid like that. Like the thing was coming for 16 and it didn't even cost anything to do that.
Oh my god.
And it's got -1 difficulty for every asset in stage, max 3. So it's always going to be coming at a 4 diff, because Mimic is just going to he is thoroughly favoring his assets. So yeah, this is a really scary turn. I'm interested to see. We got a jolt.
I think he's looking exactly at that Deadlock.
Yep, we're gonna go ahead and +4/+4 this guy. That's absolutely the play. Yeah, and they were just like, okay, that's fine. We're gonna release and just pretend like that didn't really happen. We also we got double cooperation offer, -6 speed. We've got I'll Protect You, which is -3 speed, but it commits a foundation, so it's kind of -2.
Right.
We got our double releases though, so we can commit the I'll Protect You and then blow it up to release. So there are a lot of different options that Andrew has here. You can also play one of his blocks this turn in ignoring progressive. So
it really does need to be the final block though, if he wants to get the maximum effect of being able to block 3 things.
Right, because he's going to discard a card if he utilizes that overhaul ability. Andrew did, I think, do a pretty good job keeping his blocks here. The thing about this Mimic deck, though, is that I think almost all of its attacks are mids.
And I think Andrew was lucky enough to draw into a handful of spam, most of which were mid blocks.
Right, and I think he actually ended up keeping, because he's got his future charge, so he kept the high. But yeah, it may have been useful to try to keep one of those other keeping Ares safes. I guess he didn't build any of them though.
It looks like
I swear he had like 2 in hand. Maybe that was just 1.
He just took that first Twisting Azure Inferno directly to the face.
Yeah, well, he saw the trigger transformation come up, and that is the one that you have. If you're gonna full block one, that's the one you got to full block for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, and if his opponent has 2, he's like, I don't know if I can survive that at this stage.
Here's the release.
And yeah, so we're just gonna kind of futz with stats real quick. Try to make it slow enough. If we decide we want to block it, maybe we want to partial it. Yeah, we're gonna give it -3. So yeah, we've signaled our intent.
Very blockable.
Yeah, it's very blockable. I think Andrew probably partials this one though. I think he wants to block out of his stage, and he just committed the I'll Protect You, which he can use later.
So he has, you think 1 mid block in hand or 1 high block?
I think it's 1 mid, 1 high.
What?
If I was looking at it correctly.
Is that he only has 1 in hand though? I think he built something.
Oh.
So if he
probably kept a mid
he probably kept the mid.
Yeah.
So he can play this mid. He's definitely
he's got passing the torch. Of course, he can draw as many cards as he wants.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, we missed that. Okay. Yeah, ignore us a little bit.
It's hidden behind the very fun releases.
Right. Yeah.
He does also have new training methods. So if on this block he checks something that he'd like to block with, just pick it up.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think he might actually just be blocking mid here. Yeah, there's the keeping area safe. We checked really bad on it, but because we only used one release on this one, so it's the -2 +2 kind of cancel each other out from the twistings. So he's kind of blocking it at the printed stats of that block. And now he can just draw 2 cards off the passing. I don't know that Mimic has any way to stop the passing from being a problem. Yeah. So we're probably just going to draw 2 cards here. We're happy to take Electric Jolt on the chin. I think 4 damage doesn't really bother us. We know there's a trigger transformation coming later.
Right.
So we would just, we're just going to go ahead and draw 2, find some options. Unfortunately, they were the wrong zones. But yeah, like the double jab comes down after this if we want to, and then the trigger. And really all we're doing is blocking the trigger here. We're probably going to take just like the 9 to the head.
Does Mimic have 2 ready foundations and 4 ready assets?
Yeah.
So he really only has 3 things to pass.
But he's got +1 to both of his checks from the Azure. And then he gets +2 to this check on the double jab pummel. And so all of this is very...
That trigger is only, what, 3? Okay.
Yeah, it's a 4-diff. So he would need a 6 on it with +2, so he'd need a 4 on it. He also can commit his assets to pass his checks.
Ooh, that's grossly
doable. Yeah. We definitely take that other attack. We take this attack. I'd be interested to see if we go ahead and training weights this, just to try to get a little bit more damage on board, because each time you activate training weights in a turn, it gives +1 more damage.
What is that asset that he just flipped upside down? Not face down, but upside down.
Oh, trigger. That's trigger. So that's Mimic's bread and butter. That's the best asset in the deck by far. It's going to give you +1 to the check. Also, whenever your opponent activates their character ability, you get to draw and ready, which is just such a strong effect to have when you really, really need it.
That is incredible.
Yep. So it looks like we are going to weights this. So we're going to give this +3 damage, I think, or maybe 4. So this is going to be pretty big. Yeah, and the thing about double jab pummel is like it just feels really bad to block this, because if he finds like another double jab, if Andrew decides to block,
the game is over.
I mean, it's definitely not. It's definitely close to being over.
Saying to someone, hey, you can have an additional 2 cards that you can filter through to get whatever you want. We'll make your check, but it's just...
and check that speed on it, because he's got double training with Gunhead. All of his checks past that twisting Azure, that first twisting Azure, were being modified. So he's been getting +2 speed across the entire turn on everything, and -2 to all the checks.
This is such a fun deck.
Yeah,
Keenan.
it's really, really cool. I was seeing this initially, and I was like, this deck has a lot of kill potential. Andrew can still make his way out of this. He needs to probably take this one on the chin, not let him draw anything, and then just block the trigger transformation and say, okay, kill me.
I think he's put together such an interesting combination of abilities. Usually assets have they can have very weird effects, because you can only put so many of them in your deck, or they really affect your kill turns and your build turns.
Unless you're Mimic.
You're Mimic. He's got... This deck seems like it just thumbs its nose at the rules of the game. Here's how things are supposed to be structured and played. And Mimic said he's got that little finger in the air, like, no.
Yeah, every once in a while we have these asset characters coming out to the fray, which are just like some of the craziest, weirdest, off-the-wall characters. Characters that say, like, this effect to say you can commit an asset to pass a check has been put in several different characters. Other characters like getting a lot of benefits off building assets, like Combat Ash. It was a previous one. There have been some characters like Bishamon from Darkstalkers. There's been a couple of those characters that have had these similar effects, and they've always been interesting. I would say, like, Mimic definitely uses it for the most aggressive effect. A lot of times when you're building a lot of assets, you want to try to like play a slower game plan. You want to be a little methodical. You are basically going into deadlock while your opponent has to sit at 10 foundations if they're scared of your deadlock options, because your foundations and assets are kind of the same thing.
There was another asset character, Cassandra, I believe, who was another slow one. Basically, she had a fun combination of abilities that came down to, hey, if things go right for me, which they usually do, all of your attacks do 1 damage. And I will just sit here while you slowly do 1 damage to me over and over until I can kill you.
That deck was very miserable. And congratulations to Mark Diter.
Yes. You broke the game. Good job.
You did break the game.
It happened.
It was very, very good.
But here, Mark Diter brought a Mimic deck this weekend, did he not?
Yeah, he did.
He was doing the milk.
He was on Earth Mimic, yeah, for sure. But yeah, so we just got our last block off. Note the cheerful uppercut in hand. Actually, Andrew has a high and a low. I think he had to discard one to block that attack, but can he pass a 9-speed cheerful uppercut?
Well, he's got 2 releases, so it comes down to a 5-speed. He can play it out of his
and it's -3 from cooperation offer.
Okay, and he can play it out of his stage, so no progressive.
Did he not play that one out of his stage, the keeping area safe?
Is that what he?
I think he did.
I think you're right.
All right. So this check is you can commit out for this. The question is, can Andrew block it? And this is a really big decision to make.
Right.
Yeah.
I think you have.
Is that it?
Okay.
Yeah.
He said no. I don't want to do that.
Yep. Oh no, he said we didn't want to do it. Oh,
he
nice.
Said he did not want to do it.
Oh, maybe he just couldn't pass it because it was a very high difficulty. I think it was like 8 diff or something.
So that was an incredibly scary turn.
Yeah.
To sit through as Andrew.
Andrew now has, he's got open season on Mimic. Mimic has 4 cards up because you count the asset, but Andrew's not playing throws, I don't think. So those training with gunheads are really not helping too much.
I think he only has 4 cards up if you count his character.
Yeah. Okay. And then we've got cooperation offer, which can offer some damage. Tongue Whip is a really solid choice because now, like, if he gets like a back alley later,
and he's gonna hit that passing the torch immediately.
For sure. I mean, I could see passing the torch or cooperation offer being good targets if you just don't think that he's got the damage. But 13 is like nothing to Andrew here. So yeah, I'm wondering if we actually try to block this or if we just say, you know what, one of your attacks is going to do 13 to me. I'm just going to take this and see what else I can block later. I think he's really thinking about blocking it because he also wants to check the asset and then find another attack out of his discard pile.
He's going to try for a half block.
Yep. And this may just be to check the asset, and he doesn't hit it, but he's going to go ahead and pass it. Passing it is also going to give -1 damage because he committed a foundation or committed an asset during the attack.
That's right.
And so that's been flipped now for +2 more damage. So this is going to be 3, putting him down to 10.
Okay.
And yeah, I think if Andrew,
first step.
I have a feeling Andrew found his Cannon Blast. That's what I feel like. Nope, it's Heroic Strike. Okay. So we're going to play a couple more attacks. So Heroic Strike, going to go ahead and fully commit out Justin here. Not a whole lot else to do with this. And I don't know that Justin could block a single other move this turn, so Andrew just really needs 1 more.
Right, this is coming across for 6 damage.
That's cool.
Whoa, what happened?
Discard a momentum ready training weights. So training weights can ready on committing a foundation or discarding a momentum, but in Mimic, that also represents having a foundation re-ready, yeah. All right, so we got a block where there's no way we can pass that. We take our 6 probably.
Yeah, it's got to be 6.
No, he's just going to take 4. I think Andrew just has it to such a degree that it doesn't really matter.
Okay, and
that's it.
Okay.
Oh my goodness! Wow.
Fun game 1.
Wow. Oh my God. Yeah, I thought Andrew was going to be taking it that turn, or was going to be losing it that turn, but no, he fights his way back. That was such a crazy sequence. I'm so excited to see it. So let's talk a little bit about sideboards, right? So we've got a lot of different options for both players. What's Andrew sort of working with?
So Andrew has some evade copies, probably not something that's especially relative here. Face shields. He's got instant shining flash if he wants a little bit of momentum hate. Some 1 wall cling, an extra heroic assistance if he's afraid of stun. Not a ton that jumps out to me, and it looks like he's thinking about just citing 1.
Yeah, I think if he cites anything, I mean, maybe he considers like an instant shining flash to try to hit Mimic's momentum a little bit, but and Mimic is also playing a couple low attacks, like he's playing Shocking Entrance, he's playing Cheerful Uppercut. I mean, Cheerful Uppercut almost like scarily won the game, and so yeah, I think. It's possible that we're just deciding, you know what, let's tax Mimic's momentum a little bit because we know we're going to get hit early. Additionally, evade copy can be really useful if his opponent is playing, like if his opponent gets a couple training with gunheads down like he did last time. How likely is that to happen again in a match? I think that's a good question. A lot of these attacks are mid, so he could just be citing out like off blocks to try to get more mid blocks because the ones that you want to block are the mids.
Okay, I mean, in that case, actually, evade and copy, which I kind of just brushed off, not bad. It's a nice +2 mid. It does ignore any additional speed if you'd like. So, okay.
But it also, but also like he plays a lot of speed reduction, so setting it back to Pridid is sometimes just a bad call. So looking over at Justin's list here, I think it's hard to say. Irrefutable I mean, it stops some of the issues.
It'll stop
we feel like we need to get the
with
speed.
Overhaul's face specifically on it, but he does have a lot of resources outside of that.
Cooperation offer and I'll protect you are both really good targets for that. There may be some other ones that we're not just thinking of off the top of the head.
I think the 2 of Broken Psyche. Now, granted, Broken Psyche is such a ironically broken card. I'm surprised there's the 2 are in the sideboard instead of in the main.
I think really for this Mimic deck, it's just so specifically targeted at a certain game plan that Broken Psyche feels a little bit extra. Now, maybe you feel as though your Nice Tries don't do enough in this matchup, or your Frozen doesn't do anything in this matchup because it's an Earth deck, and maybe it'll just rebuild with It Can't Be Fixed or something along those lines. But yeah, I don't know exactly what he would have cited in there. I think there's no obvious choices. Especially when you're going first. Like going second, he's got struggling with Studies Inside. Maybe he decides, you know what, I'm going to be doing some more blocking this game. I want to go ahead and, put some more defense in. But like going first, it wasn't like it was a very close match.
It was
a very close match. So I don't know that there's an easy call to make, but it looks like he went ahead and made at least one card. And we'll see what it was.
Well, we might.
we might.
We might not.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Okay.
What is your prediction for this round?
I have absolutely no idea. This is now the 4th game I've gotten to see with Andrew's Overhaul. I know it is a very solid deck.
Yep.
This is the first game I've gotten to see with Mimic, and he does seem a little glass cannon-y.
Yeah.
And oftentimes with glass cannons, that makes it very difficult to predict how it will go. Do you get a good build and a god tier hand, or do you get kind of mediocre and then get blown up?
Right. Yeah, and we'll see. The other thing is that these are both 6 hand size characters, and one of the things about like Swiss and finals is I feel like most of my variance always comes out in the Swiss rounds more so than it would do, or no, it comes out in the final round more than it does in the Swiss rounds. Like suddenly we're just going to see like somebody gets a 2 build here on accident, and it's just like it's not even a game. So I hope that doesn't happen.
Don't get that.
I really hope that doesn't happen. I mean, we've seen a couple of those games so far on stream, so hopefully we can continue our variance. And what I really am hoping for more than anything is a game 3.
Oh, we all want that when it gets to finals. We want to see.
I'm sure Christopher Bromley is like, no, I want my boy Andrew Holder. I want my Unfun Stuff. Andrew's been with Unfun Stuff forever. It feels like at this point.
Oh yeah.
I want him getting here.
I feel like he was with Unfun Stuff before Unfun Stuff was officially Unfun Stuff.
It's very likely. Very likely. I did notice a lesson in Taiyaki in his hand. I was actually talking to Andrew about this card way earlier. This is a really interesting option in the deck. He decided to keep it, I think mostly because it's a 1 diff, but it allows you to cancel your rival's next enhance. The big reason that it's in the deck is for a deadlock threat, which is never going to happen in this matchup. You saw how fast Mimic is playing. Mimic is half playing assets, but sometimes he was telling me that this enhance to cancel something does come up. And if the only thing that your opponent can play is like an enhance that's going to destroy one of their foundations, or like maybe it's the enhance that gives all of the damage onto trigger transformation, Lesson in Taiyaki just like barely ekes out a win.
That's such a very strange niche thing.
It's a 1x and it's a really cool one. We playing it first? Nope, we reviewed it. But Andrew's like, you know what?
I don't want this.
You have way too many enhances to try to bet on Lesson and Taiyaki as the card. But we are going to go ahead and get the cooperation offer down. A nice little -3 speed option is always strong when your opponent is throwing 5+ speed moves at you. Passing the torch, we obviously saw the strength of that last game. Yeah, this
Checking
is
a 4 on the 4.
This is a pretty strong build from Andrew if he passes his last one, but he misses it. So he's just going to start off. I mean, he's got -8 speed effectively because of the commit on I'll protect you. So like Mimic is going to have a really hard time hitting, and he's also got the passing the torch. So yeah, you notice Mimic's just reviewing the trigger transformation because he's like, I want to build another turn. I want to try to like maybe get something a little bit more interesting. I think he does have the Zero Grab left in hand. That is definitely the one you just hurl out here.
Oh yeah, and he's also got the double jab in hand, so he can extend this turn if he'd like to.
Right. Also, his character's very ready.
I saw Andrew gesture. I thought for a moment that's what he was pointing out. They'll figure it out.
Come on, guys. Okay,
there we go.
All right, so we reviewed an attack and then pulled it right back. I'm wondering if he's like trying to turn this into a turn, or if he feels like, you know what, this is going to be a really great poke. Zero Gravelift is one of the best turn 2 pokes in the game because it clears your card pool for you at a later turn. So you might not have the best turn 2, but it makes your turn 3 so much better because it takes one of your cards out of progressive and just throws it in your momentum for you.
It also is just some nice, almost guaranteed damage. Just good to chip away a little bit in the beginning.
Yep.
You can make your turns a little bit better later as far as clearing the card pool, but also less life that you have to chew through.
Right. And so we go ahead and see the Zero Grav getting in for 5 because Training Weights is just that strong. 6 damage move turning into a 9 damage move just by committing an asset that you can re-ready by discarding that Gravelift if you need it later. I mean, this card just offers a lot of flexibility to the deck.
There's a reason it's a 4 of. It's his singular asset that comes in as a 4 of.
Right. And the first thing that Justin clocked was that Andrew just used a mid block out of his hand. So does he have additional mid blocks to play? Let's ask that question. Additionally, do you want to block a double jab pummel and give me some more options on looking for cards?
Against Mimic, that's a hard call.
Yeah.
He can only commit one asset and his character.
Right.
So, like +2 to his check sometimes.
Oh, he did. He found it.
Yep.
And we're going to draw 2, discard 2. And the real question is, does Mimic feel like it's time to sling this trigger transformation and just get a big pile of damage? I think that's incredibly risky play.
Yes.
And so, but he does have +2 to his check, right? So he would need a 4. Yeah, he could significantly alter Andrew's life total here, actually, with this trigger. He might just be trying to build, though.
When it's game 2 and you took the game loss on the first one, I feel you're more likely to play in that conservative manner.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so we discard 2. Are we looking at playing this Azure, or are we looking at just saying, you know what? We good. I think we good, right?
I think we're well with the Azure. The Training Weights is committed. The momentum isn't under our character yet.
Right. Yeah, no, that's totally fair. Yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and do some build out here. We know Overhaul likes to go into deadlock, so we are a little disappointed that we didn't get more damage on his head. We know we got to get damage in early so that our later turns are that much more threatening.
Yep.
And Andrew is like, okay, I think I survived what could have set me up for the most amount of failure. So now what I have to do is stabilize. And
it'd be great to have one nice little poke, build something down with our character, build maybe 2 additional foundations, keep everything ready, and then say, all right, now try.
Yep, absolutely. Andrew's got a lot of decisions to make here. I would say Heroic Strike is like not the best to have at this stage. Just because like we would much rather see that as like a future charge, right? We would much rather draw a card. The reason that Andrew is playing future charge in this deck, again, having had the conversation before, was that Overhaul's like turn 1 or turn 2, turn 3, he's very taxed on trying to build something down and maintain his hand. And so future charge is really an opportunity for Overhaul to just push his buttons while also not losing out on some of his strong abilities and his defense that he's trying to play into. Okay, so we went ahead and we committed the passing, we flipped it, and then we re-readied it. Which I really like, or we replayed it, so we're going to basically have the passing on our turn again.
Fantastic.
We got our momentum, like you said, and we basically played 2 foundations because we replayed a passing the torch. So yeah, it is exactly what you said, and now he's got triple cooperation offer. So he's got minus.
I'm sorry, he has triple cooperation offer. Yeah. He also has a release.
Oh, and he's got a faith shield in his face downs.
And he's got an I'll protect you.
And he got an I'll protect you. Yeah, he's got minus a gajillion speed. he can block just about anything. It's just how many attacks is going to get played.
And the answer is, it looks like Mimic said, I would rather just build a little more myself.
Right. Well, the thing is, while Mimic is building, Mimic is also sculpting the best ones he can find. Would he rather get the Azure Inferno, or would he rather try to get? Oh, I like that play a lot.
Was that an Electric Jolt?
Yeah, that's an Electric Jolt. Yeah, he wants to go ahead and he might just sling this here. Yeah, this is the right call.
Oh yeah. Just say I'll have a card pool clear. I'll have a selective committal.
Yeah, I want to take away your passing the torch as soon as possible. I do not want you to be able to overextend on me like you did last time. So let's go ahead and get the card that's going to make that a reality for me later.
But he doesn't know Andrew has that face shield.
That's true, and I think this is when Andrew uses it, especially.
The fact that you played this card third in the string says to Andrew, I don't have a giant threat that I'm going to fling at you.
Right.
Let's go ahead and use that face shield so we don't have to review it later. Nothing feels worse than reviewing a face shield.
I love stun one has to commit release. I mean, you know that they're not going to like do anything crazy
right.
for the rest of this turn. He's already played 2 assets, but still, like stun one commit release
choice.
is like in 99% of cases that is not going to be the option. You're going to go any of these other ones, please. All right, so I think we're going to see the. Oh, we got the Chivalrous activation to draw another one. There's another Electric Jolt in hand. Are we going to like try to overcommit just to get the Electric Jolt after this Face Shield comes down?
Ooh.
Yeah, this is nasty. Oh, I love this so much. Yeah, Andrew's like, all right, cool. The thing that you wanted, you can't have. And he's like, well, I got another one, but it's on a 7?
That's on a 7.
Are we doing it? Nah,
no.
we're not doing it. Yeah, and I think that's totally respectable here.
Okay.
All right, we got the build out.
Yeah, we honestly, as Mimic, our board looks really big.
It looks big, but like it's we didn't get the Jolt.
Right.
Andrew's still at 23. Andrew so far has gotten everything he's needed to sort of sustain through this. It'll be interesting to see what the rest of this holds, but like right now Andrew's doing an insanely good job stabilizing. He is sad that he's checking 3s on like everything that he plays. But at the same time, like he's going to get to draw a card. He's going to get to overhaul if he wants to. He can replay whatever he commits here, right?
Right.
So at the end of the day, I think it's fine. The cool thing is like overhaul, I think he has to play a face down from stage, right?
Oh, yeah, he can't play anything face up.
He can't play anything face up, but he can always, like, during the block step, even on a full block, I'll still flip and give this +2 damage just to gain a health and just to replay the card that I flipped.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And so yeah,
we got our card draw. We're going get an Azure
blocking
out
with an
of
Azure
hand.
Inferno is that feels really good.
You know what? I don't care that I didn't do damage.
Yeah.
He has double training weights down too. Like you do not want that Azure live.
No. Yeah. So Andrew got to get his draw. He got to get his build. And we're gonna see if he's gonna try to do anything else with this turn or just here it goes. There's a back alley.
Back alley.
Yep.
Back alley as the second card.
Mm-hmm.
It's the #1 first card I think in the game.
And he might have drawn on a future charge.
I have to assume.
Yeah. But even then, maybe he would have thought to build it down, or maybe he's built down something even spicier, which would be really interesting. Maybe it's a second back alley. That'd be cool.
Andrew is doing such a good job of, playing the deck, but also such a good job of keeping things interesting for us here in the commentators area, because so much of what he does is just off screen.
Right.
So
We're watching an open presence in front of us. It's like, oh, here's a little surprise. Oh, here's a little surprise. And meanwhile, on Justin's side of the board, his little surprises involve, hey, I actually drew my attacks instead of found them out of my discard pile this time.
Right.
Did we just block? We blocked with the trigger transformation too.
Wow.
So
we don't want to die.
We do not want to die. We recognize that Overhaul's trying to take us to a long game, and we believe that we can play that long game and do well enough that we can stabilize and actually like fully finish him. And all we're going to keep doing is, try not to let our paper body get any more ripped apart.
We said we will play this. That's going to be on a 7.
Yep. So it's commit 3, ready 3 is basically a costless 5 diff.
Ready 3.
Yeah.
Totally free.
Mm-hmm. Are you making the ad campaign for repeated 100% smash?
Well, first of all, repeated 100% smash does not need an ad campaign
at all. No.
But I think I could do a good job.
Yeah, I think you've already done the good job. I think I'm sold. I'll tell you what. Yeah, so definitely one of the defining cards of the format, especially in Eraserhead, but I love this in Overhaul. Oh my goodness. Like it really makes the future charge lines make more sense. I think Andrew's really like put the package together with this build.
For folks at home, I'm literally craning my head just instinctively, like, oh, what did he draw? Maybe if I look at the screen from a different angle, I'll be able to see. I think it was a foundation. Yeah,
it's fine. Like Andrew is not going for a kill here.
No.
He is going for try to get some more damage on board.
So EX?
No, this is just going to be straight damage because he doesn't think that Mimic's going to block anything. And what we see is that there is a high block in hand. Are we going to go ahead and nope, wrong one. That doesn't block that one. That one blocks that one. Okay. So we got 3 attacks out of Mimic's hand.
3 quality
3
attacks.
very high quality attacks. And we've seen the last card in his hand, so we know we have to keep a low block. This is kind of the dream for Andrew, I think. So we're gonna go ahead. So we flipped one during the block step. We went ahead and played the cooperation offer. So we've got a ready cooperation offer option. And we're making sure we don't want to go into deadlock because the Fancy Feast is down.
Right.
And we don't want to just give +4 willy-willy.
This time.
No, we No, yeah, we don't have two releases this time. We do have a minus. We have 12. No, 11 speed plus all the releases.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, he's still feeling like he's in a pretty good spot. Okay, we got double shocking entrance.
This seems like a.
Oh, we did side in the broken psyches.
There we go.
Yeah, that's pretty massive.
Love him. Absolutely love him.
So yeah, double shocking entrance here. We're just going to try to make a critical mass of assets, where we just discard cards. We get more triggers. We get more weights, and eventually we're going to say, Andrew, I can pass any check. All of my assets are basically out of my deck because they're all in play now, and so eventually we're going to get to the critical mass on Mimic's side, where it's going to allow us to win the game. We just have to not die to Overhaul before that, and we did a great job of that last turn.
We have stabilized really, really well.
Yep.
It's. Gosh, I love seeing the different ways that this matchup can go.
Yeah.
Because it did feel like Mimic was on the back foot for a decent amount of last game. I say that and then immediately remember the turn we thought Andrew was going to die.
Yeah. Andrew, like Mimic and Andrew Justin and Andrew had a great back and forth. But yeah, so Justin is, I mean, right now, all he is trying to do is posture a way to get this into a late game to continue to survive Overhaul's onslaughts, and he's doing a really great job of it so far. That last turn, I think it was imperative that he blocked those because he did not see a way through Overhaul's insanely ridiculous staging area, and so it was important for him to, defend so that he can build even bigger. And he also sees that Andrew loves his deadlock,
so he just picked up
the fancy
piece.
piece. That is like the worst asset in his deck, suddenly becoming one of the most valuable pieces to ensure that Andrew doesn't just try to wall him out this game. Yeah, this is really, really cool. I love that decision. Are we maybe changing our mind though?
Well, at this point, unless you remember exactly where it was, game state.
Right. Yeah,
So,
and we've got a second shocking
be...
entrance in hand, so we may be looking at what we might get later, or if we check the asset, what we'll pick up.
That's a once per turn, is it not?
What?
The picking up the asset. If you
Has he already checked the asset? He might have. I might have missed that.
I also might have just made it up in my head.
Ooh, okay. We would draw the twisting azure. We're continuing to sculpt. I still don't think that we've got like a game damage line here, but we do have. We're putting the pieces together here.
Yeah, we do still have one broken psyche in hand, I think. So just having a momentum to say, oh, I'll turn something that looks like it was going to be lethal into 2 damage.
Yeah,
that would be nice.
Yeah, and Andrew does play a lot of like big sick bombs, like repeated with the powerful 3. Cannon Blast has like been his favorite card of the tournament we were talking about. Yeah.
Ruin someone's run.
Yeah. So yeah, like there's definitely reason to have a broken psyche sideboarder back in, but Justin was like, I don't need 2 of this card. I want to make sure that I'm going to get one of the bombs down, but I need to work on getting a second momentum right now, and I just used it for some effect.
That was the zero gravity lift, so I believe that he's just saying, I'm going to clear my card pool after this.
And maybe we can convince Andrew not to block it because it's going to go to momentum anyways.
Andrew says, that's a lot of damage.
Oh yeah, no, we're going to definitely block this one, I think. Yeah, there's no reason not to. We're looking at the I'll protect you, or there's a lot of different options in terms of what to reduce with. And I'll protect you is definitely like the worst piece of speed hate on Andrew's board. So this is definitely a no-brainer. I think the cooperation offers they offer way too much value comparatively.
Cooperatively.
Cool. That was dumb.
It was.
That was really dumb.
You know what? We've been here for several hours.
That's true.
It's just going to get progressively dumber.
We're allowed to be dumb. That's good. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get our block in here, full block, and move right along. We'll get the momentum anyways off the zero grav, and now Justin has some choices to make. We're just double checking state here to make sure that all the response windows have been sort of finalized, if they've been used. And we got another shocking entrance in play. I'm wondering if we're going to go ahead and do that, get another asset in play, or if we're just like, we don't want to extend too hard because we don't want to give Andrew too much of a window to open us up.
Right. We still have the Twisting Azure in hand, but I feel like we save that for a turn where we really want to go in.
Oh no, this might be that turn.
Incorrect, or this is that turn.
Yep. All right, so we got the Twisting Azure off.
We did re-ready that training weights on that last attack. This is exactly the reason why we thought this might be coming down.
Yeah, and Andrew's a little card light because he lost his passing the torch, right? Like he's only got 2 blocks in hand and 1 block from stage. It looks like he can probably pass all of it with his tools, but like at the same time, if he catches Andrew with his pants down or something weird happens with checks and things like that, maybe this represents an opportunity to like go in. Maybe this also represents an opportunity to force Andrew to use multiple of these flip effects.
I think that's really where we're at, because I don't think we're going to find Andrew with his pants down right now. I think Andrew has a really good belt.
Yes.
What this could be doing, though, is force... What's that?
I was going to make that joke.
Yes. He could be forcing Andrew to loosen that belt a little bit, to get rid of some of that stability that he's been building up.
Yeah. Andrew definitely has his pants fully on here. He's not getting pantsed right now, but he may be getting some of his stuff flipped and sort of help loosen him up,
Calling way back to yesterday, we saw one match where there was a single "it can't be fixed" that was just stopping someone from really wanting to go into using an ability that repeatedly commits. And eventually we said, dude, they can't hear us, but we were there saying, dude, you've got to just go for it. You've got to make them use it, and then they won't be able to use it later. And just like you said, that might be what's happening here.
Okay, we actually just saw Frozen activation. That's crazy. He frozen, keeping area safe, committed, and re-readied, but he destroyed a foundation. Oh man, and Andrew is now a little scared of this, which is interesting because we've seen the hand, and I don't think it's like all that crazy. Does he have the 7 in his hand?
I don't think he does. He could be looking for it right now.
Yeah.
See if he checks the asset, what's he snagging?
He pulls the chivalrous out just to maybe just on accident. Let's see.
Okay, so
all right, shocking entrance. There's the asset. Okay, now he finally gets his response off. So he said, you know what? Maybe this is the turn.
Oh, and he likes the double jab, it looks like.
Yeah.
Or at least he's considering the double jab.
Consider the double jab.
Consider the double jab. And anytime that combo is live, that's such a glorious card to be able to play.
Yeah, for sure. So we got jab, we got League of Villains. Maybe he's just like trying to scare Andrew, and Andrew is like,
Andrew took an Azure to the face. Andrew is scared.
Andrew's at least concerned. He's going, what on earth is coming next?
He's clutching that belt.
Yeah. And so he's okay taking that. This is interesting. So we're going to discard an asset to pick up a different asset. Let's go ahead and find a cooler asset that's got more neat effects on it, like a Fancy Feast. Please stop going into Deadlock, Andrew. I never want to see you do Deadlock again.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a really interesting way to play this. And the thing with the double jab though is like if he plays a double jab and Andrew deigns to block it, then if you happen to draw into the kill, like it might be just a straight up game 3, right?
Yeah. Which we did say we really liked earlier.
Oh, that's what he was doing. So he was looking through his discard pile. He found the Chivalrous Competitor and he copied it with Mimicry. Oh. So he said, okay, I want to get some more cards. I want to get a little bit deeper in here. What did he draw into?
Wait,
I see a Broken Psyche. He's just flipping a Broken Psyche.
No. I missed that exact string. So he was copying it with Mimicry. Mimicry is
an asset that allows you to copy any foundation from your discard pile.
So he flipped his asset, got a foundation?
Yeah, it turned into a foundation.
Oh.
Yeah. That's one of the best parts about Mimicry is like sometimes you can like off of Earth you can apathetic with it and then suddenly you've got an additional foundation, so you can play like going out of Deadlock and then putting yourself back in back into Deadlock with Mimicry, or just blowing up enough foundations and things like that. There's a lot of different ways that it can impact the game, but it's one of those like super creative cards that like really creative players will be able to leverage and make something crazy. We see the Frozen coming down again. So Justin really believes that this double jab is going to get blocked and that he is going to draw into like the Stone Cold orange, which is possible if he knows what his ratio is left in his deck. So Justin could be like big brain mathing this where he just has what he needs.
I certainly wouldn't be counting that out.
Yeah.
Again, though, Andrew's staging area just so block happy.
Let's see. Are we blocking from stage here? Looks like it. We've got the tongue whip.
Okay.
So we got to discard our card.
So when earlier,
or maybe he already discarded the card, right?
Yeah. Oh no, there it goes. I think he's deciding which one to discard.
I think you discard it when you play the effect.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. So earlier we said that Andrew might be scared here. I think that was a definite yes. If he's willing to sacrifice a tongue whip that he was storing up for later to make that really nice kill string.
But I mean, Justin has been posturing this entire turn that he's got it.
Yep.
He said, I'm going to destroy 2 of my foundations to commit and uncommit a keeping Ares safe. Like, I don't know. It seems like a really strong play when we know that he doesn't really have what looks to be the game, but like if he can convince Andrew to block this, he might find it. Or he can get Andrew super low, and like his attacks are a gajillion damage at this point. Like this training weights has been readied and committed like 3 or 4 times this turn this stage.
We need 2 dice to even demonstrate the amount of damage we've put on this.
Yeah. He's definitely saying, "Hey, Andrew, please block."
And if were I Andrew.
Yeah, Andrew's going to count the cards because Andrew did get a chance to look at his opponent's deck list. But the thing, and have we already talked about Andrew's deck list? No, we didn't. Did we talk about it?
About the deck list review?
Yeah.
No, I think we talked about that just before stream started.
Right. So I was talking to Andrew, and he was like, "Yeah, I don't deck list review people. I just like the last match. He said, yeah, I just said, oh, you play 4 indiscriminate shocks. Okay, cool. And I set the deck list down. So when we were like first doing the preview footage for this, you may have seen Justin sort of like pouring over Andrew's list, being like, okay, what do you have? I don't know that Andrew knows the exact numbers of all of Justin's cards. Like he could if he had seen the list.
He might have just glanced at it just to see like, okay, what assets you got.
Right. Yeah. And what's your attack line? What should I be worried about? But if he didn't like track like, oh, you have 3 trigger transformations, then he looks at the discard pile and he says, oh, there's this many left. Yeah. He may have a harder time like understanding what Andrew's final count is inside of the deck. So what does that double jab, draw 2, discard 2 actually mean?
Right. So we have gone ahead and given this minus speed. We are planning to block this and just see if we can then deal with whatever comes afterwards. We only have 2 blocks.
Wait, you think you're blocking this?
We gave it minus speed.
Oh, we did. Yeah, it might actually be lethal. I can't see what the numbers on the dice are, but yeah, this may actually be lethal here.
It is definitely possible.
All right, so we're going to destroy for release again. And then we are going to... are we going to frozen? It looks like we're considering it. We've frozen this far, right? Like
right.
we want to get Andrew in a place where, you know, maybe this draw 2 gets us the lethal line, and the only way we're going to do that is by committing him down more. We can make a foundation to re-ready a training weights. Yes.
Okay.
Oh, we committed the frozen. Okay.
Said, you know what? Block this.
Yeah.
Because whatever's coming next is going to be for lethal.
And Andrew's got it looks like he's got the mid in hand, but I feel like what you want to do is partial this because you're more scared. But if he draws the low, right? Like it's really coming down to this draw. But oh my god, I think this is lethal now.
We've seen a lot of mids here. Let me jump down to the graph.
Yeah, so the lows that he's playing are shocking, which is not that threatening. And what's the other one? Cheerful Uppercut. And then everything else I think is a mid except for 0 Gravelift. So yeah, I think this is a kind of hard block choice, but he has sunk a lot of different damage pieces into this. So it may just be better to block this high for partial and then say you can't kill me through 2 throws, which is basically what he's saying when he takes half.
Right.
But instead we're going to go and block with a cooperation offer. We're going to draw 2, and we ripped a jolt, which doesn't do it.
It does not.
And
we have anything else in our hand?
I don't see it. Nope, we don't.
Nope. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Good job, Andrew.
So we'll still play the jolt. We'll throw it down, but like it's going to get some damage off the training weights, which is exciting. But then it's going to be really hard to continue building. And Andrew's coming to a point where he's going to realize like there's not really another attack that you pass here. You would need a 4, 5, 6, 7 on the trigger transformation. So you actually could pass that. And that is terrifying.
That is?
Yeah. I think Andrew's going to keep his block, though. He's going to take this to the chin with whatever extra damage comes on training weights.
There is already training weights.
Yeah.
How much extra damage is that going to be?
I don't know if it's lethal. I think Andrew is still a little bit sketched out by this, but not utilizing the frozen on the last attack, I think, is a pretty big tell that we're a little shaky on our kill string here. If you have the kill string, you frozen every single attack. Release is not the one you keep up.
Right.
If you're keeping up release, you are defending as much as you possibly can. And so, yeah.
Actually, Andrew says,
Andrew saw the release up, and he said, you know what? I don't think you have it. I love this. I love this very much.
We're going to re-ready the training weights.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Blocked and blocked. Partialed, of course, but, you know, still, that's not
dead.
game.
That is still live and kicking.
Yeah, and to your point earlier, like Andrew did block with his tongue whip. Like he doesn't really have, I don't know what else he's got stored down there, but he only has 6 foundations with which to execute a 19 damage kill. Mimic could still make it through this okay. He's got Fancy Feast he can commit for minus damage, and he's going to get some momentum that he can use to re-ready the training weights to give more minus damage. Overhaul only has 3 foundations to flip, which is only 6 more damage and no other damage bump at stage.
He still is going to get that nice committed foundation off of this jolt. He can say, if you didn't draw the nuts, I know you got rid of your tongue whip. I'll go ahead and commit down your passing the torch. I don't want you fishing for more damage. Let's try to live one more turn and see if we can't throw some more at you.
And we may just passing the torch first to kind of get through that, but I think that's really down the line, and really it depends on what kind of a backswing Andrew's going to draw here. Because I think it's really like if Andrew cannot draw the backswing here, we might be moving to a game 3. This is kind of crazy. So we also have the Broken Psyche in hand, which Andrew doesn't
pass it.
We need a 6. Yeah, we do have to pass it.
Yeah, we do have to pass it.
We can fail that.
It's worth it, probably.
Oh, it's definitely worth it. Yeah, if he gets this, that's so much security. And
that looks like
he got the trigger activation, which he didn't have, and he's going to commit. Does he need a? Oh, he only needed a 5 for that. Okay. Yeah, trigger's going to give that check +1. I don't know. I thought I had another card in card pool. I think it's just like a wide card pool because he's marked them sideways to say they're going to momentum. But yeah, Broken Psyche's huge, and Andrew doesn't really have a way to isolate and stop specific foundations.
So Andrew really needs to draw the nuts right now.
Yeah, Andrew would need the nuts. I mean, also Mimic is just like gotten rid of all of his sculpts, so Andrew might be thinking, hey, maybe I can still defend, but that's a pretty great start.
Okay, I literally was about to say that what I would love more than anything right now for Andrew is the back alley. Done 2, get another foundation. We're a little foundation light. Put some decent damage on board.
So we're going to overhaul this first. You have to Broken Psyche this now. Yeah, we went ahead and got our build. Broken Psyche activates, so it's only going to be 2 damage, and then it's going to get stunned, which is fine. Andrew gets a chance to draw a card or build one. It looks like he's trying to go for build here. He just wants to feel a little bit more supported if he's going to go for a kill. And we go ahead and commit the passing the torch like you said earlier. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and build in the tight-lipped. Excellent.
Both of these players just making the very good plays. They're perfectly aware of what each other are doing.
Right. I wonder if it was better for Andrew to just stun and try to do the overhaul first on the next attack, just to get the Broken Psyche out of the way.
Or does he feel like he's got 19?
Yeah, maybe doesn't think he can.
Does it even matter? Like, would I rather just say, oh, I'll put this down now. I'll have it to commit. One way or another, I'm going to make you eat through all of this.
So we checked our asset, so we get to pick up an attack. So Mimic has begun the sculpt again. And we are actually going to pass this check, so we're not going to take 2.
Wild.
All right, and so now we need a 6. Great, we get to re-ready our passing the torch and activate it if we want to.
Love it. So another reason that he may have just not worried about the passing the torch getting committed down, because he said, I could just re-ready it.
Yeah, for sure. All right. So we're going to discard our momentum, ready our weights. We're going to tight-lip this. So we are counting right now. We are trying to find the lethal line. Mimic is going to have a really hard time blocking.
Flipped with the tight-lip? Just curious what he was willing to give up out of his very face-down staging area.
Yes, yeah, that's totally fair.
How much is he posturing that he has the kill?
All right, so we don't have a full block on this. I'm wondering if he's going to think about a partial. I think like it's too fast to pass that block, but maybe I'm wrong. He needs a 7 probably? Okay, so he's going to take...
If I would not
9
have
from
block
that?
At this point where Andrew is saying, I think I have you dead to rights.
Right.
I only want to block if I'm going to die or I can fully get rid of that damage.
All right, so we got to draw 1 off this future charge. We've got... I mean, do we have other attacks in hand as Andrew? We put 1 down, right?
We did. So
okay, so that's probably an attack.
Likely we have an attack.
Yeah. Are we gonna?
We also have the passing the torch.
We do. If we need to go fishing, we can fish. I feel like at this point Andrew's got to feel a little bit vulnerable. And getting the Twisting Azure out of the hand is like the first step to maybe not feeling as vulnerable next turn. Also, Mimic is really close to cycling. That is so bad for that character.
So bad for Mimic. All right, he's close to cycling. He's gotten the Azure out of his hand. Mimic is completely committed out except for his character and 1 training weights. He's got 2 cards in his card pool. Do you have 10 damage you can throw down right now from your stage?
Yeah.
That is the question for Overhaul.
I think. Oh no, he went ahead and failed the block. So because he checked a 3 on it. I don't know. Maybe he could commit out to pass it. And so we're thinking about we're gonna flip. We're gonna go ahead and drop make to 4. We're also going to gain a life, which, you know, oh
we have
my
tongue
goodness.
whip.
Here's the tongue whip.
Oh, we're going to
We still haven't played anything from our stage, have we?
Was that not from stage?
No, he committed to pass the 7.
Gosh,
Yeah.
he really had the nuts.
Yeah.
And now with
or are we drawing a card to find like the last attack? Oh, we went out of cards.
Yep.
Are we out of cards?
Are we out of cards?
No. Okay.
Okay. So this is now 6 damage. It's lethal on.
It's lethal on the half because
it's
of
lethal
Overhaul.
on the half because of Overhaul. So
Right.
does he have a low block?
I believe
Can he pass it?
I think he has a low block. I don't know if he can pass it. Yeah,
Is
he
this
needs a 9. That's not
That's
a 9.
a 3.
Wow.
All right, good job, guys.
Oh my goodness.
Andrew Holzer.
Wow, incredible. I don't know if you guys can hear that coming through the mic, but people are losing their minds over there. Wow, what a game. That was insane. I cannot believe both of our players back and forth. Justin had a lot of really great opportunities. I loved him trying to take a slower tack game 2. Andrew just found the most ridiculous backswing you could possibly find.
I don't think there were any serious misplays there on Justin's side. I think that this was just a case of the way the decks happened to be playing for each of the characters.
Andrew found the orange, and Justin, when he needed to get like the triggers and the twistings and everything, he found shocking entrances, which is a really good card early, but as the game goes on later, now you're like, I don't care about the assets in my discard pile. I just want to do like 30 damage on an attack and just win the game. So yeah, that was an incredible match between the two of them. Condolences to Justin. He played so incredibly well. You know, it was actually funny. He was talking to me a little bit, and he had talked about how we said at the Kansas City Regional that Tokoyami hadn't done anything interesting in the last little bit. He actually had just topped a UK event with Tokoyami like 2 weeks before.
We're so rude.
Yeah. So he was like, yeah, I'm feeling a little bit like, you know, you guys are, you guys need to, he said it was funny. But yeah, like Justin is an incredible player. I am sure we're going to see more of his Mimic deck. I know I'm going to go home and build that because that deck is cool as hell.
He brought one of the coolest decks in the room, if not the coolest deck. We've seen a lot of cool decks.
We've seen a lot of cool decks, but Justin's deck is awesome.
That decks do not do.
Yeah.
He broke what the rules are supposed to say your deck does.
Yeah, if you didn't get a chance to watch Top 8, go watch Top 8 and go watch Justin run somebody over because it is awesome. But speaking of running somebody over, Andrew with his, overhaul deck just crushing the competition.
I'm sure he'd be so glad to run over here and tell us a little bit about his deck if we can get him for an interview in between the hug line. I'm sure that's happening behind us.
I'm sure it's ridiculous. So we are going to try to see if we can speak to one or both of our competitors, and we will be right back with you guys with hopefully some interviews.